The Bible isn't just a book of random stories. It's 66 different books that come together to tell one story. An incredible one about God's love for us. And now for an amazing story from the book of Numbers, chapters 13 and 14.
The Israelites had traveled many miles since God had freed them from slavery in Egypt, but at last he had led them to the very edge of Canaan, the land that he'd promised to give them. The Lord spoke to Moses as the Israelites camped in the desert of Paran.
Send one leader from each tribe to check out the land of Canaan. I am giving it to the Israelites. Yes, Lord.
Moses gathered together the people.
It's been a long journey, but we've come to the very edge of the land God is giving us. God wants our best men to check out Canaan before we all go. So I'll need, Egal, Goel, Gadi, Gadiel, Nabi, Palti, Amiel, Shaphat, Sether, and Shammua? Oh, and Caleb and Joshua.
The 12 men came forward to stand at the front of the crowd.
Here they are, your 12 spies.
Before the men set out for Canaan, Moses gave careful instructions.
See what the people are like. Are they many? Are they strong? Have they built high walls around their towns?
Joshua and Caleb took careful notes.
Numbers, strength, high walls, and check out the land. Is the soil rich? Does it grow good food? Bring back some fruit if you can. Soil, food.
The other spies were anxious to get on with their task. Shammua hoisted his pack and slapped Joshua on the back.
Enough with the scribbling. Look and learn to see how a real spy gets the job done.
Egal smirked.
If there are people in the land, we will squash them like footworms.
I think it's inchworms.
Not when I squash them with my feet. Footworms.
So the 12 men started out and soon crossed into the land of Canaan.
Look at those tall trees and the great shade they cast. Finally got a place to put my hammock. Oh, and check out these grapes. You could play golf with one of those. We gotta take some back.
Joshua and Caleb cut a single bunch of grapes so huge and heavy they had to carry it on a pole between them. Shammua and the others strolled along.
Our mere presence has scared everyone away. I don't get to squash anyone?
Not a single person. Which is odd, come to think of it, with that city over there. City! High walls! Look at all those people! Tall, strong, giants!
They will squash us.
Everyone but Joshua and Caleb panicked and began to flee.
Guys, God is giving us this land. So just chill out. Have some grapes. One grape is probably plenty.
At the end of 40 days, the 12 spies returned to camp and stood before Moses and Aaron and all the people.
Tell us what you found.
Shammua and the others stepped forward before Joshua and Caleb could get a word out.
It's true, the land is amazing and the soil is rich.
Take a gander at those grapes.
But there are powerful people living in the land. Big, tall.
They will squash us like grasshoppers.
And the cities are huge, with strong, high walls.
They could drop things on us. Boom.
Caleb couldn't contain himself any longer.
Don't listen to them. We should take the land. We can do it. Yeah, we want them to wipe us out.
Shammua and the others spread terrible, scary stories about the land throughout the camp. By evening, panic had descended, and the Israelites all crowded around Aaron and Moses.
Why did the Lord bring us here?
Those people will capture our families.
I wish we died in Egypt. We should go back there.
Let's pick another leader.
Moses and Aaron threw themselves down on the ground before the Lord. Joshua and Caleb tore their clothes in a sign of great distress.
Listen, the land totally rocks. If God is pleased with us, he'll lead us there and give us the land. But we've got to do what God says. Don't be afraid of the people in the land. The Lord is with us. We can defeat them.
The Israelites were too scared to listen. In fact, they started planning ways to get rid of Joshua and Caleb. But before they could take action, the glory of the Lord appeared in a brilliant light over the meeting tent so that everyone could see. Then the Lord spoke to Moses.
How long will these people refuse to believe in me? I will strike them down. Lord, your love is great. So forgive their sin, just as you've done over and over since they left Egypt.
I have forgiven them, but not one of these people will see the land I promised to give them. They have seen my glory, but they did not obey me. But my servant Caleb follows me with his whole heart. Caleb and Joshua are the only ones who will enter the land.
After God spoke, Shammua and the other men who had spread a bad report about Canaan were struck down. Only Joshua and Caleb remained.
Whoa! Hey, you want a grape? Yeah, sure. I think it's going to be a long time before we see grapes like this again.
Just as God had said, none of the Israelites who had given into fear lived to see the land God had promised. Instead, they wandered the desert for another 40 years. In the end, it was their children, along with Joshua and Caleb, who would enter Canaan.